Miranda. All right, we're going to get started. So the first thing is squats, which you know how to do, but you also have the option of doing a squat jump. Turn down one, please. So when you do a squat jump, you're just going to squat just like you normally do. I usually drop my hands down and jump. Now, the thing you have to be careful about in a squat jump is that when you land, you want your toes forward, you want your form to stay. And the power comes from the bottom of the squat, just like when we did the squat press. You want the power to come from here to jump. And then obviously the higher you jump, the more intense the squat jump. The next is ball hamstring tucks. So you're going to get a balance ball. You're going to lay flat on your back with your calves on the ball. And then raise your hips up off the ground. You're going to pull the ball towards you. It helps to flex your feet. It requires more use of your hamstrings than your calves if your feet are flexed rather than pointed. Also, you can modify by, to make it more intense, by bringing your hands up in front of you. See, I'm losing my balance. And pulling it towards you. And I usually will raise my head to really squeeze my core if I'm going to bring my hands up. You can try keeping your head down too, but that'll really work your core while you're doing it as well. The next one is walking lunges. Okay, so for walking lunges, you can do where you move. That's how I like to do it. I like to actually walk with the walking lunges. So you take a step, lunge, and you just keep walking. And it's that same lunge position that you do for a reverse lunge. So you just drop your hips straight down to the ground. Most of the weight is in the front foot, or the heel of the front foot, knee in the direction of the second toe, shoulders back, and then just step up and step into the next one. The other option is if you're limited in space, you take a step out and you just come back up and then alternate. So that's the same thing. So rather than the reverse lunge, which is where you step back into the lunge, you're stepping forward in a walking lunge. Okay, the Bosu ball deadlifts. So you're just going to be on a Bosu ball, which I don't have at home. You'll have some weights in your hands. You're going to have your feet about hip width apart, holding the weight straight in front of you. You got to keep your shoulders back. And you're just going to bend straight down. And you want to keep your back flat. So I kind of like to keep the weights close to me and your legs straight. I think you've done deadlifts before. So you don't want to drop your shoulders and round your back. You want to keep those shoulder blades pulled down your back and your back flat. And then you're going to snap up. And you just do those over and over. And you really want to squeeze with your hamstrings and your glutes as you snap up to work those on the Bosu ball. Okay, then you're going to do jump lunges or split squat. So if you do split squat, I think you've done these before too. You're just dropping your hips straight down, up and down. If you decide to do these, the first time through, do one side, and the second time through, do the other side. If you decide to do jump lunges, all you're doing in a jump lunge, it's the same motion. It's a split squat basically, and then you jump and switch. So for those, I prefer if you go a little bit slower and fight for depth on those and switch rather than faster and not doing as deep of a lunge. And then the last strength one is a hamstring kick back. Go down the basement with Daddy. Zach, will you take care of Ryder? Yeah. Go meet Daddy, please. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use a resistance band. They make resistance bands that are a tube shape. They also make them that are two triangles. Or you can do this on a machine that has a cable coming from the floor with weight. And it will have something that you can wrap around your ankle. So whatever whichever method you choose, you may want to use a wall at first, although you'll get to the point where you won't need a wall, and you may not for balance. But, and this one, you're going to do on one leg the first time through, and then the other leg the second time through. So what you're going to be doing is if you have one of those triangle bands or one of the tube bands, either way, you're going to have wrapped around your, if it's the two triangles, one triangle will be wrapped around your front ankle, and if it's the tube, just the tube will be wrapped around your front ankle. Tube meaning it's like a big giant rubber band, it's just a circle. Then you're going to put either the other triangle or the back of the tube around the arch of your foot, and you're going to kick back this is going to be using your hamstrings, so it's going to be getting the lower part of your hamstrings closer to your knee. Now here's the important thing on the tricep or the hamstring kickbacks. You don't want to let your knee come forward, because then you're going to be working your glutes and your hip flexors, and we want to work at the hamstrings. So you're going to kick back and just bring your knee up to your other knee. Kick back, kick back. I mean, you can do it without any resistance. I can feel this because I'm really squeezing all through my hamstring as I'm kicking back. So you want to kick back, and you'll just have a little bit of resistance. If you do it with the weights, don't do a very heavy weight because you're going to be doing it for quite a while. So start with a pretty light weight and just kick back and bring it forward. My leg's not perfectly straight, but it's not bent either. It's just kind of almost in a relaxed position. Kick back. And okay, so for the core X planks, you're in a plank position, and you're going to be bringing your knees to the opposite elbow in plank. Okay? So you're in plank. Bring your knees to the opposite elbow and alternate. So you just go back and forth. Modifications, you can do this on your elbows as well. Russian kicks are just, you're in tabletop position where your hips are lifted. And you're going to raise one arm and the opposite leg and touch your toe. And switch. And switch. And you're constantly fighting to keep those hips up. They're going to dip as you lift your legs, but fight to keep your hips up while you do those. And then mountain climbers I think you've done before. I know you've done those before, so I won't show you mountain climbers again unless you have any questions about those. But good luck, this one's going to be a doozy.